Welcome to a new day of perfect English fixing common errors, a new lesson, and new 10 common mistakes to fix. Let's find out about Roberto's day. Hi, Roberto. Tell us about your day.
Hi, everybody. With the few money I had, I couldn't go anywhere, so I went to see a friend. He had a new aquarium installed in his place. I had never seen such brightly colored fishes before. My friend likes reading, above all self-help books. He told me about a book he read that was about how to satisfy your ambitions in life. The book included some good points, but I knew that I needed more qualifications to go ahead in life. After that, I tasted a cake he made and went back home. On the way home, there was a man and a lady arguing one another in front of my apartment building. They blocked the entrance and wouldn't let me go through, which got me very nervous, and I could not anymore take it. I was about to yell at both of them, but they suddenly stopped arguing and left. And that was all about my day.
Thank you, Roberto. Now, Roberto's English was almost perfect. He made a few mistakes, but that's not a problem. We're here to help. To help Roberto correct his common mistakes, we will focus on the following 10 keywords today: few, fish, above all, ambition, go ahead, taste, lady, one another, nervous, and any more. Let's start with the first keyword, few. Let's take a look at this example. With the few money he had been given, he bought an apple and some cheese. Now we need to remember that few is used with plural countable nouns when we say few cars. And when we want to use a similar word with uncountable nouns, we use little, like when we say little traffic. So in this example, money is an uncountable noun, so we can't use few. We should say with the little money he had been given, he bought an apple and some cheese. Let's take a look at another example. Few minutes later, the sales manager arrived. Here, few is correctly used with the word minutes because minutes is countable, but pay attention to the difference between few and a few. A few means not many, like when we say, I saw her just a few days ago. But few means hardly any, like when we say few people die of smallpox nowadays. So, in this example, we should say a few minutes later the sales manager arrived. Now let's see how Roberto used the word few. He said with the few money I had. And here we know that money is uncountable, so he should say with the little money I had. Now let's move to the next keyword, fish. Let's take a look at this example. I had never seen such brightly colored fishes before. Now, the word fish is the same in singular form and in plural form. So we don't have fishes. Fishes is only used in stories for small children and in scientific or technical styles to refer to different species of fish. But in general speech, when we want to use the word fish in plural, we use the same word, fish. So here we should say, I had never seen such brightly colored fish before. And this is exactly the mistake Roberto made in his conversation. He said, I had never seen such brightly colored fishes, when he should say only fish. Now let's move to the next keyword, above all. Let's take a look at this example. He likes reading, above all, novels. Above all means most importantly. Now, when we say get plenty of sleep, eat lots of good food, and above all, try to relax. And most importantly, try to relax. That's what we want to say. So in this example, we should use the word especially, not above all. We should say he likes reading, especially novels, because the meaning here is not most importantly. Let's take a look at another example. This year, English is above all my most important subject. If you want to use a superlative form, the most important, we use by far instead of above all. So, in this case, we should say this year English is by far my most important subject. Let's take a look at one last example. Where would you like to go above all? When you mean more than anywhere, anything, anyone else, use most of all or the most. Don't use above all. So in this sentence, we should say, where would you like to go most of all or the most? But we don't say above all in this sentence. Let's see how Roberto used it in his conversation. He said, my friend likes reading above all self-help books. And we know from what we just explained that he should use the word especially. He should say, my friend likes reading especially self-help books. Now let's move to the next keyword, ambition. Let's take a look at this example. My immediate ambition is to find somewhere to live. Ambition means something very important that you have wanted to do or achieve for a very long time, maybe for all your life. And this is not exactly what we have here. Here, it couldn't be just find somewhere to live, cannot be an ambition. It is something that you hope to achieve when you do something, and that is simply an aim and not ambition. We should say here, my immediate aim is to find somewhere to live. Let's take a look at another example. Not many people manage to satisfy their ambitions. Now, here the problem is with the verb itself. We don't say satisfy, meet, reach, or arrive with ambition. We use achieve. We say achieve your ambition. So in this sentence, we should say not many people manage to achieve their ambitions. Let's take a look at how Roberto used this word. He said he told me about a book he read that was about how to satisfy your ambitions in life. And we just learned that we don't use the word satisfy with ambitions. He should say, he told me about a book he read that was about how to achieve your ambitions in life. Now let's move to the next keyword, go ahead. Let's take a look at this example. Without additional qualifications, it will be impossible for me to go ahead in my career. If you are successful in your career, studies, etc., you get ahead. You don't go ahead. So the idea here is the word go ahead is used when we want somebody to start something. Like when you want to say something, I can say go ahead. When you want to start doing something, I can say go ahead and do it. But if you want to mean that you are successful in your careers or studies or whatever, you use get ahead, not go ahead. So in this example, we should say without additional qualifications, it will be impossible for me to get ahead in my career. Let's see how Roberto used this word. He said, I needed more qualifications to go ahead in my life. And we know that this is not what he should use. He should say, I needed more qualifications to get ahead in my life. Now let's move to the next keyword, taste. Let's take a look at this first example. During your visit, you will be able to taste some of the local Catalan specialties. When you taste something, you put a little into your mouth to see what it is like. And this is not exactly what we have in mind here. When you have something to eat or drink for the first time, you try it, you don't taste it. And this is the meaning we need here. So here we should say, during your visit, you will be able to try some of the local Catalan specialties. Let's take a look at another example. I buy all my family's clothes because my husband has such a poor taste. When we want to use taste in this sense, we don't use a or an. We use it as an uncountable noun. So we say have good, poor, little, or no taste in something. We don't use a or an. So in this case, we should say, I buy all my family's clothes because my husband has such poor taste, without a or an. Now, one final example. We all thought that the joke was of a very bad taste. Also, in this sense, it is an expression, and the expression is not exactly said this way. We say be in good, poor, or bad taste. We use in, not of. So, here we should say, we all thought that the joke was in very bad taste. Now let's see what Roberto said. He said, I tasted a cake he made. And we know that meaning eating something for the first time is trying something. It's not tasting something. So he should say, I tried a cake he made. Now let's move to the next keyword, lady. Let's take a look at this example. At the front of the queue, a man and a lady were arguing with a cashier. Now, the word lady is used when you need to be polite, especially in formal styles, like when we say ladies and gentlemen. May I have your attention, please? Please show these ladies the way to the cloakroom. The usual word to use in everyday life or in general conversation is woman and not a lady. When we say, for example, isn't that the woman who teaches at the international school? But there is a special case when we prefer to use the word lady to the word woman, and that is when we say old lady. The word old lady is generally preferred to old woman because old woman sounds a little bit impolite. We don't usually say, can you help that old woman across the road? We usually say, can you help that old lady across the road? So based on that, we come back to what we said. The sentence we have here is in general form, so there's no need to use the word lady. We should say, at the front of the queue, a man and a woman were arguing with the cashier. Let's see how Roberto used this word. He said there was a man and a lady arguing one another. So here, he should say there was a man and a woman. Now let's move to the next keyword, which is one another. Let's take a look at these two examples. The children get on well one another. The second example, they had good opinions one another. The thing here is we don't use the word one another just like that. We should use a preposition with it. Before one another, for example, we could use with or of. We don't use it on its own. So here we should say the children get on well with one another. And the second example, we should say they had good opinions of one another. But we never just use it without prepositions. And Roberto made the same mistake here when he said there was a man and a lady arguing one another. Now, we talked about the word lady, but remember that we should use a preposition before one another. So he should say there was a man and a woman arguing with one another. Now let's move to the next keyword, nervous. Let's take a look at this example. Thinking she might be hurt, I felt very nervous. The word nervous here is not exactly the word that we need. Nervous means worried and unable to relax, especially because you lack confidence. But there's no lack of confidence in this sentence. In this sentence, I want to say very worried about something which may happen or may have happened, and this word is anxious. This word is not nervous. So we should say here, thinking she might be hurt, I felt very anxious. Now let's take a look at another example. What really made me nervous was the way he kept pulling my sleeve. Again, the word here is not nervous, is not worried and unable to relax. This is not what we want to mean. We want to talk about something unpleasant that happens repeatedly or continuously and something that makes you feel slightly angry or annoyed. And this word here could be irritated. It could be angry, but irritated is a very good word to use here. So instead of nervous, we should say what really irritated me was the way he kept pulling my sleeve. Let's take a look at how Roberto used that. He said they blocked the entrance and wouldn't let me go through, which got me very nervous. Actually, he doesn't mean worried and unable to relax. There's no need for that. What he means is he was irritated. So he should say they blocked the entrance and wouldn't let me through, which got me very irritated. Now let's move to the last keyword of the day, anymore. Let's take a look at those two examples. People go there when they are not able anymore to look after themselves. The state does not anymore provide a pension for everyone. When we use in connection with time, anymore usually comes at the end of the sentence. That is the rule. So here the problem is that we put anymore in the middle of the sentence. So we should say people go there when they are not able to look after themselves anymore. And the state does not provide a pension for everyone anymore. Now let's take a look at how Roberto used this word. He said, I could not anymore take it. And we know that he should use the word anymore at the end of the sentence. So he should say, I could not take it anymore. Now to recap, we have picked and corrected the following 10 mistakes in what Roberto said. Instead of saying with the few money I had, he should say with the little money I had. And instead of saying I had never seen such brightly colored fishes, he should say I had never seen such brightly colored fish. And instead of saying my friend likes reading above all self-help books, he should say my friend likes reading especially self-help books. Instead of saying he told me about a book he read that was about how to satisfy your ambitions in life, he should say he told me about a book he read that was about how to achieve your ambitions in life. And instead of saying I needed more qualifications to go ahead in my life, he should say I needed more qualifications to get ahead in my life. Instead of saying I tasted a cake he made, he should say I tried a cake he made. Instead of saying there was a man and a lady arguing one another, he should say there was a man and a woman arguing with one another. And instead of saying they blocked the entrance and wouldn't let me go through, which got me very nervous, he should say they wouldn't let me through, which got me very irritated. And the last one is I could not any more take it. That's what he said, but he should say I could not take it anymore. We should leave anymore to the end of the sentence. And that's it. Now, before we are done with the lesson, let's hear it from Roberto, but this time in perfect English, after he has learned about his mistakes and he has corrected them. Hi, Roberto. Can you tell us again about your day?
Thank you for pointing out the mistakes that I made earlier. So I'll go again, only this time in perfect English. With the little money I had, I couldn't go anywhere, so I went to see a friend. He had a new aquarium installed in his place. I had never seen such brightly colored fish before. My friend likes reading, especially self-help books. He told me about a book he read that was about how to achieve your ambitions in life. The book included some good points, but I knew that I needed more qualifications to get ahead in my life. After that, I tried a cake he made and went back home. On the way home, there was a man and a woman arguing with one another in front of my apartment building. They blocked the entrance and wouldn't let me through, which got me very irritated, and I could not take it anymore. I was about to yell at both of them, but they suddenly stopped arguing and left, and that was all about my day.
Thank you, Roberto. I hope you have learned new things today, and I'm pretty sure that your English is a step closer to perfect English. Remember, if you want to get the most of this course, you should take a new lesson every day. Now you are ready to take the quiz to check your understanding of the common errors we talked about today, and my advice is to take the quiz right away to check your understanding and to take the quiz again tomorrow before you start with the new lesson to consolidate your information. If you have any questions about anything you didn't understand in the lesson, please leave me a question in the Q&A section and I will answer all your questions. That's all for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again tomorrow.